Hi, welcome to 7 Minutes to Business Success, and my name is Darlene Zebel. In this little session, I'm going to share with you how I made millions of dollars turning away customers. You heard me right. You have to learn when to say no. And I'm going to go through a list of questions that I created and ask myself every time I'm selling to a customer. Saying no is something that most business owners have a difficult time putting that word in their vocabulary. All salespeople that I've met over the years will never want to lose a sale. They will strive to achieve and reach every sale, no matter what the consequences. And this even happens to very large companies. As a management consultant, I've advised some of the largest companies in the United States. And one of them didn't realize they had so many operating costs because of one salesman who constantly was giving away their product or service. You can't afford to do that. So here are some times when you really have to say no. And the biggest one is when the customer doesn't need what it is you're selling. And you're trying to convince somebody to buy your product or service. Let me give you an example. As a management consultant, I had a consulting firm, and a very large manufacturer in the United States approached my company and me about doing an information technology strategy. They wanted it done immediately. But in the conversation, they mentioned that the corporation as a whole was planning to do a new strategic plan the following year. Now I'm sitting there listening to this thinking, well, if I come in and do that, my company comes in and does their IT strategy. Next year, they come up with a new strategic plan. My strategy that I built for this company will go out the window. And what's going to happen? Will their board of directors say, why'd you hire this outfit? Why'd you spend this money? So finally, through the conversation, I learned that the client was afraid he was going to lose the money in his budget the following year if he didn't use it quickly. It was already fall. And I said, well, if I do this strategy for you, it's going to be a waste of money. They're going to throw it away. And my company may get blamed for these decisions. So I suggest you don't do an IT strategy. I suggest you spend the money training your people on the newest, latest and greatest technology that may come down a year from now because of the corporation's new strategic plan. And he looked at me and said, no one's ever turned me down before. And I said, well, you finally met a management consulting firm that is truly looking out for your best interest. So I left. And that same week, we had a huge payroll due in my firm. We didn't have the money. We didn't have the cash flow. And I thought, and here I just turned down this big contract. But that same week, I got a phone call from an existing client who had the same problem. They were going to lose, it was the end of the year, they were going to lose their budget if they didn't use up all the money. But instead of buying something that they didn't need, they called me in and said, we'd like to pay you 1 year in advance for your fees. So we want to cover next year's fees now. And we trust that you will do the work next year. The universe paid me back in spades. So never be afraid to turn down a customer if you know in your heart of hearts what you're selling is not the best product or service for them. Another time to say no is when a customer is asking you to sell something that you don't have and add it to your inventory. Let's say you own a restaurant and you serve chocolate shakes in 3 flavors, chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. But one person comes in and says, oh, I don't know why you don't have pineapple. And you as the business owner go, oh, great idea. We'll run out and carry pineapple for him. Now you have all this pineapple inventory and no one else is coming in to buy that shake. You can't listen to every customer. Now, if 1,000 customers came in during that same time period and said, we want pineapple, then you need to carry it. But if it sounds like if it's an anomaly, if it's something that's not really going to be in the best interest long term, you just have to apologize to the customer and say, I'm sorry, there's not much of a market for pineapple and we can't afford to carry it. So when they're asking you to add stuff to your list of products or services, it may not be in your best interest. Another time is when they're constantly asking you to lower your price, or if you're a coach or a consultant, they're asking you to give it away for free. And you can't continue to do that and operate a business and be profitable. If they're constantly asking you to lower your price because that is what the market will bear, then you have to go back and look at your business strategy and determine if you can afford to lower your price. So never give away your product for free unless you're giving away a sample, or I give away a free hour of consulting to people so that they can learn my techniques, whether or not we're a good fit, whether or not they want to hire me going forward. And you know in your heart of hearts when it's not the right opportunity for either you or your customer or client. And remember, like I said earlier, the universe paid me back in spades. That same client I turned down that year came back to me a year later and provided me with millions of dollars in consulting fees to do an IT strategy that was based on the new corporate strategy. I knew in my heart of hearts it was the right thing to do at that time, but it was really hard because we needed the cash, we needed the money, we needed the client. So you have to go with your gut, you have to go with what's right, you have to go with trusting that you're making the right decision. Thank you for joining me. Please go to my website, darlenezbell.com. I have some free assessment tools, some other downloads and ebooks that you can look at, and take a look at my consulting services, and contact me if you have any other questions that you would like included in the 7 Minute to Business Success series. Wishing you all the best success in the world. Thank you.